Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Business Talks. I am your host, Chawanne Burns. I'm sorry, I had my cell phone on. Anyway, welcome back to another episode of Business Talks. I am your host, Chawanne Burns. In today's episode, we are going to discuss Donald Trump. He gave a press conference today in regards to some of the things that he feels like we should focus on. I guess the most pressing issue that America is facing right now. He shared a video with us. So we're going to view part of that press conference. Also, Tiffany Henyard. I know this story is kind of old, but I did find Investigate Advocate did report on this, and actually the news reported on Tiffany's Henyard's eviction notice. So Jedediah Brown had an interview with the, I guess, supposedly landlord of Tiffany Henyard, and she revealed some things that kind of, to me, it signals off a light bulb. I don't know why she would put herself in this predicament, but anyway, I'll let you guys be the judge of this. So we'll view that. And also, we're going to talk a little bit about the Madison Square Garden again. I know we talked about it yesterday, and there's continued backlash about the Puerto Rican joke. I thought, okay, maybe it was out of taste, but I still thought it was funny. I mean, he's a comedian. He joked about everybody. But The View, they took it personal. And then there was a CNN interview with Abby Phillips and some of the commentators, Mindy Hassan and another conservative commentator. They kind of went back and forth. And the conservative commentator said some things that he probably shouldn't have said, but I get why he said that. So we'll take a look at that exchange. Okay, so you guys stay tuned for another episode of Business Talks. Little something like this. Looks a little bit like I can't miss. Hey, this is what you call a bap. What? This is what you call a bap. Little something like this. Looks a little bit like I can't miss. Hey, this is what you call a bap. What? This is what you call a bap. That's right. You guys put in the chat. Let me know where you're viewing from. Please put in the chat. Let me know where you're viewing from. I see we have Celeste Hodges in the building. Candace had another episode. Kamala's mom has a dark past. I know. We'll probably be talking about that tomorrow. She has 2 episodes. I viewed the last one this morning. I want to take a look at the one prior to that to make sure I could kind of cut out the fluff and get down to the meat and potatoes before we review that. But it is some really checker dark past with Kamala Harris and her mama, and quite frankly her dad. Okay, so we could just lump them all up in one, but her mom really, if you guys don't know about the MK Ultra project, actually if you look on CIA.gov, you can actually read. They do have a brief article that they did release to the public. I believe it was back in 2018. I'm assuming Donald Trump released it and made sure that these files were released and known to the public. But really gory stuff that Kamala's mom was in. She was a researcher. I told you she performed research, and she was, I guess, a psychiatrist, but she was performing experiments for the CIA and the government. And it was some really crazy stuff. But in this interview, they get into depth of what they believe that Kamala Harris, how she became Kamala Harris today. Okay, so we'll view that tomorrow. So you guys stay tuned. Anger mismanagement, thank you for tuning in. It's always great to see you. Tyrone Price is in the building. Chawanne Burns, hello. Hopefully former President Trump will be the elected next Tuesday. Yep, Trump 2024. We're here for it. Justin Thompson, it's always great to see you. Brian is in the building from California. Bob Long, hey Bug, hey Mr. Bob Long, it's always great to see you. We have somebody tuning in from Ex Guardians of Equality. Hey, been a minute since being able to catch you live. Thank you for tuning in, Guardian. He's also saying they keep saying Trump is lying about Kamala and trafficking. Who can we trust to send a copy of the lawsuits and affidavits? This is what I'm saying. Like yesterday, I wouldn't put it past Kamala. Where are the 330,000 missing children, Kamala? Where are they? The stuff that Candace Owens revealed in the guy that she was interviewing yesterday, I wouldn't put it past Kamala that she's somehow tied into this whole thing. She was the border czar, okay? So I wouldn't put it past her, because this stuff it goes deeper beyond our own belief. Like, you can't even fathom these things that they revealed yesterday. It's kind of almost we're watching a movie. Justin Thompson, homeowner, is trying to serve Henyard. I think she can serve Henyard. I got my own take on this, and this is the thing. I didn't view the whole video, but this is what I gathered from the information. I'm not trying to take Tiffany Henyard's side. I know she owes the lady rent. Tiffany Henyard doesn't like paying people, but I think the lady, the landlord, put some things. She shot herself in the own foot. Let me just put it that way. Measured man, they don't have a problem calling us crazy, ridiculous black men. However, when you call them something, it's an attack on them, and they want to call victimhood. They join into, and I'm talking about the liberal people, the extreme liberal people. They get on this mental and victim Olympics and said, oh my goodness, how dare you call me that? Well, you was just calling me a Nazi because I was a Trump supporter. You just called me a Nazi sympathizer because I'm a Trump supporter. You just referred to Donald Trump as Adolf Hitler. But when I call you a name, it's, oh my God, you're being racist. Well, you're being racist to me. Like, come on now. If you can't take it, why dish it out? I just don't understand that. And Measured Man is saying, they keep saying Trump is lying. Okay, I just read that. Carl for president. I'm from Philly, living in LA, got tons of PR homies, and I felt the same. Low key, I giggled and it was funny. But as a little budding politician, I know, damn, this ain't going to land well, son. Yeah, it's not going to land well. But I think as if I'm a comedian, everybody gets it. And he talked about everybody on his bit. He stood up there for 11, almost 12 minutes, and he literally talked about everybody. But I'm still questioning, why are they singling out Puerto Ricans? What is the point of him or of them singling out Puerto Ricans? Because he talked about Latinos, he talked about black folks, he talked about white folks. Matter of fact, he talked about his own grandmother. I just don't understand what the problem is. So when you're a comedian, you think some people are more vocal than others, but why are you so sensitive about being talked about? But it's okay if you talked about other people. Anyway, DJ, but B-Sides 1965, Annapolis, Maryland. Thank you for tuning in. LeBron, C Town, Ohio. I'm assuming Cincinnati or Cleveland. Cleveland, Ohio. James Hooks tuning in from Chicago. Emmy Campbell, Emmy from Ohio. Lenny Malley, thank you. Please get this the likes button up. Please share this video. Tyrone Price is in the building. Lenny Malley said, because after Puerto Rico and the hurricane, we find all kinds of stuff FEMA was keeping from the people. Yes, and they dog Puerto Rico out. Maybe this will shed a light on Puerto Rico because he said Puerto Rico, the joke was Puerto Rico, we have trash floating in the middle of the ocean. Oh, that's Puerto Rico. And they do have a trash problem there. So I just found the article about, and this is a small news organization. They talked about the trash problem in Puerto Rico. They just posted that on their news feed today. So maybe it would shed a light on Puerto Rico's trash problem and how dirty they was doing Puerto Rico. The FEMA people probably stole that money. It probably didn't go to the necessary people, and the government of Puerto Rico stole the money from the people. The people didn't actually get it. And it's unfortunate that many of the Puerto Ricans, it's like 43% of Puerto Ricans living in poverty in Puerto Rico. And they're Americans. They are Americans. They vote. They're over here. There's a lot of Puerto Ricans that's over here and voting in our election. So it's like, we're saying, oh, this was a bad joke. Yeah, maybe poor taste, but I thought, like I said, I thought the joke was funny, but I don't understand why they're pinpointing in on Puerto Ricans. I'm kind of confused about that. Ira White, because there are a lot of Puerto Ricans and voters in New York and Pennsylvania. Yeah, you are correct. There's a lot of Puerto Ricans in New York City. But, another thing I didn't appreciate, because, we have this rally, or Trump had this rally in New York City. And if you look at the people that were there, it wasn't just white folks there. There were all types of nationalities under one roof, rallying and rooting for the same thing. And that's American causes, rooting for Trump because they want Trump to be the next president. And I'm pretty sure it's Puerto Ricans and Jewish people, because they're, it was a lot of Jewish people there, I noticed. But it's like, okay, what is the whole point? And I guess this is a last stitch of hope that we have to throw out and, tune into that message. Trump is a racist, I guess. Trump didn't make the joke, but I guess he's supposed to be racist. I'm not for sure. Let's see who else we have. Ira Wright, it's a province of America. Yes. And, Lenny is saying below poverty. LeBron is saying the money went to the illegal migrants in America. Yes. Okay, so let's get started. I had to power down my computer earlier, so I don't have any of my pages that I had queued up. I think first I want to start with The View. Okay, The View is kind of irritating to me. I call them the cackling hens of The View, and they try to act like they're so important and they are moving the needle with the American people. I don't know who watches The View still, but they've been on for years, and I don't know what is their demographics, like what, I guess, women. And maybe gays, middle-aged women, gays, really liberal women. Even though they have Alyssa Farah on there, she's supposed to be conservative, but I think she's a fake conservative. She switched because of the money, I'm assuming, because you were conservative before it was like these extremists. Then now you're saying, oh, I'm a liberal. And you're kind of an extreme liberal because you don't even give them pushback on all this rhetoric that they talk about during The View. Some of the stuff that they're saying, like, I'm not going to show this part, but some of the things that they said about this rally, You didn't even say, "Oh no, no, I think you're taking it too far." Why would you say something about that? I don't like Trump, but yeah, this is too far. You're going too far away from this messaging. But he doesn't say that kind of stuff, or she doesn't say that kind of stuff. She just sit there and shake her head like a little damn bobblehead, like, "Oh yeah, I agree." Like, it's like, come on, Alyssa. Like, why are you even there? To me, it's like, why are you even part of this whole thing? But this is first, I'm going to play Sunny Hostin because I think she's the most outrageous person. And she's like, "Oh, Mr. Trump, we are Puerto Ricans." It's like, okay, Sunny, get over yourself. Everything has to be about you. You wants to be the main topic of the hour, and like you're so important, but you're not. You're not important. Nobody thought about Sunny Hostin when they says anything about Puerto Ricans. And I showed you yesterday, and she's going to repeat this. Oh, J-Lo, Bad Bunny, and all these other Ricky Martin and all these other Puerto Ricans are saying, oh, they got 400 million followers combined. It's like, so the hell what? This is not going to deter anyone from voting for Trump. Number one, he didn't say the damn joke. And number two, if a joke deters them from voting for Trump, they never was going to vote for Trump. You guys let me know if I'm going in the wrong direction. If a joke deters you from voting for Trump, you never was going to vote for Trump. Let's stop acting like, oh my God, we got to step on pins and needles because we want Puerto Ricans vote for us. We want black folks vote for us and all this. Like this, cut the crap. You voting on if a person vote for Trump, they generally is voting for the damn policies. They voting on their pocketbook, nothing else. Their pocketbook, open borders, they want to close them, and they don't believe in men should be in women bathrooms. Flat out. Economy, open borders, and if you pro-life and you don't like men in women bathrooms. Because we had enough with this. Hey, we don't want you to teach our kids shit about sex changes. We're tired of it. So if a joke is going to decide I'm going to vote for Kamala now because they said something about Puerto Ricans and he said something about black folks eating watermelon, and he didn't. He said carving watermelon. Oh, I'm just so mad. That's not going to stop you from voting for Trump. So stop it with the madness. All it is causing more divisiveness between the two parties. That's all it's causing. Getting people stirred up. The people that didn't like Trump, they don't really like him now. That's all it's causing. Anyway, here's this fool.
This Puerto Rican has something to say about the island that I love. Where my family is from, Puerto Rico is trash. We are Americans, Donald Trump. Americans. We voluntarily serve disproportionately high in the military while you have bone spurs. And we vote. Pennsylvania is home to almost 500,000 Puerto Ricans. North Carolina, 115,000. Georgia, 100,000. Arizona, 64,000. Wisconsin.
Yes, any Puerto Rican that's listening to the show, thank you for your service if you participated in the military. Yeah, thank you for your service. But we Puerto Ricans, we participate in the army while you're having bone spurs. You ain't never signed up for no damn army. All that damn weave in your head, you ain't never participated in no military exercise. All you do is sit there and lip. That's all you do. And act like you're important. And you want to play this victim. Get over yourself. It's not about you. It's not. America state is not about you. Okay? It's not about, hey, we have all this racism going on. Oh my God, we got to clean it up. Anybody going outside and saying, oh my God, I got to worry about racism. Nobody's doing that. Nobody's going outside and saying, oh my God, Donald Trump, I think he's a racist. Only you doing that. Only you and your crazy followers are saying, oh my God, we're going to serve democracy from this racist person, when he's talking about trying to get jobs back here and close the borders. And your candidate is trying to keep the borders open for everybody to come in here, and you're mad. You're mad about that. You are literally mad because Donald Trump is actually literally trying to save America from this crazy ass candidate, this Manchurian candidate that we have, that we didn't select. Nobody voted Kamala in. This is wild. Nobody voted Kamala in, and everybody's going gun ho for her. Save Kamala is the black Jesus, and she ain't even black. Like, is this insane to you? Like, she's getting really mad about this whole thing about this Puerto Rican joke, and it's really upsetting to me that, and then she's blaming Donald Trump for saying it. She act like Donald Trump got on stage and said these jokes. Really insane to me.
61,000, Michigan 43,000, Nevada 27,000. We vote Donald Trump. Trash. And by the way, Jennifer Lopez, Ricky Martin, Bad Bunny, Luis Fonsi, and Mark Anthony have over 345 million followers on Instagram. I think you only have 26 million, since you care so much about size.
And she's wrong about that. Yeah, they combined, they got all the 300 and some million followers. But if you look on X, Trump has like 90 million followers on X. So it's not like this is not a movement that we're being a part of. I just wish people just really step back. Okay, why are you voting for Kamala? Okay, I could see why a person would vote for Kamala. Why are you getting mad? You need to step back. Why are people voting for Donald Trump? Not because he's a racist. You're so closed-minded, you can't get that through your brain. You think people are just voting for Trump because they're neo-Nazis, and then you got all these other different races voting for him. It doesn't make any sense. Use some critical thinking skills, lady. I'm acting like Sunny is, but she's not using critical thinking skills. Like a lot of these people that gives us their opinion, and they don't live their daily life like we live. We got to worry about groceries and the prices of groceries, the prices of gas, while they're sitting up there on The View making millions of dollars a year. And, they're not using their critical thinking skills on, okay, I could see why a person will vote for Donald Trump. You're so blind to the fact. And so this is why I think, once you get a certain age, I think you're stubborn and you can't really open your eyes. Well, and I can't even say that. Maybe it's just a liberal thing. But I don't never say I don't see, if you are a true, really about reproductive health, if you really want to have an abortion, I don't know why that would, impact you, saying, hey, I need to have an abortion. I think something's really wrong with that person, but I'm going to step aside. Okay, this person want to have access to abortion. I'm not going to say, oh, that's the most worst thing that you could do to vote for Kamala Harris. Well, Kamala Harris is going campaigning around saying that she's going to give access to abortion to everybody. And you're a single issue voter. I don't think it's wise, but okay, I could see you voting for Kamala Harris. I could even see people voting for Kamala Harris because, I want to be a part of history because she's a woman. I could see that. Because a lot of people voted for Barack Obama because identity politics. I don't think it's wise, but I could see it. So why can't you see the reciprocal of why people will vote for Donald Trump? And why can't you see other races voting for Donald Trump? You know, and years ago, I don't know if you guys remember when Donald Trump was running against Joe Biden, this very same person said a suburban middle class white woman voting for Donald Trump is like a roach voting for roach spray or something. She compared middle class white women to roaches. You guys remember that a long time ago? So it's like, you know, you just can't see why a person will vote for Donald Trump. And I don't understand that. And I literally can't see why a person will vote for Kamala Harris after you know she's a liar. Like, she is morally irreprehensible. I don't know if I just made up that word, but I think she's like morally wrong of a person. I really do. I don't think she has authentic bone in her body. But I'm not going to be like, oh, like and I knew my sister is probably voting for Donald Trump. I'm not going to not talk to her. She's my sister. I try to persuade her like, no, I didn't see it like that because we talked about the rally. But come on now.
And we don't like what was said about Puerto Rico. And we know how to take the trash out, Donald Trump. Trash that has been collecting since 2016. And that's you, Donald Trump. And finally, my fellow Puerto Ricans, Trash Collection Day is November 5th, 2024. Don't forget it.
You know,
okay, we're collecting trash. Yeah, hopefully the trash will be actually taken out. This is Anna Navarro. Now, Anna is another, I guess, Paige Shields. She says she's a Republican. A Republican with conservative values. Even this lady, Sunny Hostin, she's a Catholic. You're a Catholic and she thinks she's very against abortion. She says she was against abortion, but she's still voting liberal. Someone's whole campaign is based off abortion and you voting for that lady. It's really crazy to me. This is why I say money rules all, and they corrupt every moral being in your body when you get paid. If you're not strong enough. Some people stay true to themselves, but these people apparently didn't. Now, this is Anna Navarro saying, on November the 5th, I want you to vote for your heritage and your traditions and your identity. That's what they're doing, Anna Navarro. People are voting for their heritage, and their heritage is not to, when they say Jesus is Lord, you're at the wrong rally. I think you meant to be at the smaller rally down the street. Religion is part of people's heritage. We're forgetting that too.
Vetted by the Trump. Today when I was leaving the hotel, there was a woman there, and she started talking to me about this rally. And I said to her, "Are you Puerto Rican?" And she said to me, "No. But today, we are all Puerto Ricans."
Right.
And so I want to say, and he didn't just make jokes about Puerto Ricans.
No, he didn't.
He made jokes about blacks.
Yep.
You know, the whole trope about watermelons. He made jokes, a vile joke about Latinos that we can't even put on daytime TV.
Yep.
So today, we are all in this together. And I'm going to say this particularly to my Latino community. If Trump asking for the death penalty for 5 young men of color, black and Latino, the exonerated 5 wasn't enough for you. If Trump getting investigated for refusing to rent to black people wasn't enough for you. If Trump promoting a racist trope against the first black president with the birtherism wasn't enough for you, if Trump calling Mexicans rapists and criminals and bad hombres wasn't enough for you, if Trump calling us vermin, invaders, people who poison the blood of this country wasn't enough for you, if Trump throwing paper towels at people in need after Hurricane Maria in Puerto Rico wasn't enough for you, if Trump saying immigrants have made this country into the trash can of the world wasn't enough for you, then maybe, just maybe, this comedian, handpicked, chosen, vetted by the Trump campaign because he reflects what Trump has said his entire lifetime, maybe that.
You see how crazy this sounds? All the examples she used, okay. Yeah, having illegal immigrants, they are poisoning our country. I'm sorry. Illegal immigrants that are violent criminals, they are poisoning our country. I'm sorry. I mean, you might get mad about that, but yeah, they are. Nobody wants a violent criminal in their land. We can't go over there to their land. They won't just let us in there. No, we can't go any other country in any other countries and just settle and without the proper documentation and being admitted legally in no other country. So why would we allow it here? So she's really upset about a comedian. This is how it's said. You're upset about jokes. Like they never been to a comedy before. I'm pretty sure they apparently probably never listened to Dave Chappelle. He's very offensive. Cat Williams, very offensive. Every comedian. Remember that one black guy, they tried to cancel him because he said he voted for Trump in one of his jokes. And I think he was talking about the George Floyd in one of his jokes. So they tried to cancel him. He was very offensive. But so why are we so offended about jokes? I just don't understand. And like I said, Anna Navarro, if jokes are going to stop people from voting for Trump, they were never voting for Trump. They didn't. They were not voting for Trump. They wasn't in his corner. They was just trying to find, oh, should I vote for Trump? Oh, he said this one thing and he didn't say it. This comedian said it. So we're not voting for Trump. That's just ridiculous to me. And no, we're not all Latinos today. We're not. I'm a black woman, and I'm pretty sure there's some Latino people. And they're not identifying as other people. This is what liberals do. Oh, I identify as... No, I identify as who I am. I could be offended for somebody, but not really. I'm going to stick up for people that I love and stuff like that, but not for a joke. I mean, just like, really, you're making a big deal out of nothing.
Will be enough for you. And on November 5th, I want you to vote for your heritage and your traditions and your identity. I want you to vote with dignity and self-respect. Latinos, comunidad, si ustedes tienen respeto por sí mismos, si tienen dignidad, defiendan esa dignidad y usen sus votos el 5 de noviembre para sacar a Donald Trump.
Yes.
This comedian, he talked 32 minutes into this rally. Donald Trump showed up 4 hours and 20 minutes later, 4 hours and 52 minutes into this rally. So he had over 4 hours to come out there and condemn these comments, to distance himself.
He did the same thing on January 6th.
Why would he condemn the comments when they were jokes? Tasteless, maybe, but they're jokes. Come on now.
Let's do it. By then, every Puerto Rican had a mask. I mean, it was like the bat signal.
It was the bat signal. It was the bat signal.
These people are, they're really disgusting to me. There was a heated exchange. You guys put in a chat. Let me know what you think. if putting other words into the mouth of a political candidate, do we want to do that for the left? I don't understand why are they so upset about this. I'm really confused. Kennard, the DJ, I think they know Kamala's gonna lose, so that's why they're upset. They're like gearing up for massive meltdown. Like they're like system overloading. They were like freaking out right now. Like it's like really crazy. Kennard, what is good? I gave up feeling sorry for everyone else in the world around 6 months ago. The return on my investment was horrible. Exactly. Ask the guy, what's his name, Gilbert or Dilbert, the guy who made the cartoons. He was a sympathizer with the black race, and they turned on him like real quick because he said some type of comment. Don't know what he said or can't remember what he said, but it was really something really stupid. And I knew you was always a racist. And he supported the black community for the longest. And he realized, oh, it's a useless cause to say, hey, I'm going to champion for other people. And they eventually turn on you. Like that's usually no good deed goes unpunished, basically. Exactly, Linnell. Biden eulogized Robert Byrd funeral. Like, come on now. If that wasn't like smack in your face, I'm a true racist. This is the prime example. Like, come on. Oh yeah, George Lopez makes jokes and they laugh at that. People get so butthurt. And George Lopez, somebody played the clip where George Lopez, and he was in front of Kamala and other Democratic leaders, and he was making a bunch of Latino jokes. Everybody was cracking up. I guess because he's Latino, he's allowed to make those jokes. I guess you can only joke about your own race, I'm assuming. Barry Soetoro, Obama is not African American. He's a Hamite Kenya African. African Americans are Shemites. Obama, not our people. Exodus 11:7. Yeah, we know Obama is not our people. Karma Knows is tuning in from Arkansas. Natasha is saying too emotional. Exactly. What is wrong with them? LeBron, they need something negative to say to their people to get off Trump's team. Yeah. Flyby Media, Puerto Ricans have a racist history towards blacks, so F those women. F those women, okay. This happened on CNN, you guys. So CNN, let me go to YouTube. CNN, on the Abby Phillips show, CNN had a explosive debate, and it was crazy because they end up telling the guy that he could not come back after he made this remark. Let me see if I want to play the.
Your movie is really funny. It's really funny. By myself,
Okay, you guys
laughing
let
out
me know if you
loud
can hear
hysterically
this.
today.
It is one of the most.
If you don't want to be called Nazis, stop doing.
You're called an
saying-
anti-Semite. You've been
stop
called an
saying-
anti-Semite
stop
more than
saying
anyone else
things.
at this table.
Yeah.
And people would
By
sit there
you.
and no, by me. I never called you an anti-Semite. I mean, I'm not sitting here saying I don't.
I'm a supporter of the Palestinians, so I'm used to it. It's
Yeah,
fine.
well, I hope your beeper doesn't go off. The thing is
Did
that
you just say I should die?
You should not.
No, I
Did
said,
you just say
no,
I should be killed?
No, I did not
Live on
say that. I
CNN?
said, no, I did not say that.
Hold on, hold on.
Did your guest just
Let
say I
me-
should
No, I
be
did
killed
not.
What
on
did you
live
just say?
TV?
I said I hope
Guys,
you're.
let me just stop.
You said you hope my beeper doesn't go off.
Because you sound a big
Stop
supporter
right now.
Of the Palestinians.
Guys,
of Hamas.
Guys, let me
said
stop.
Palestinians.
Are you a supporter
Am I
of
what?
Hamas?
No, of course I'm not.
Palestinians
saying
are
that.
not.
Then I
Are
apologize.
you a
Then I
racist,
apologize.
violent person
Then I
inciting
apologize.
violence against me?
Ryan.
That's disgusting.
That is completely.
No, I apologize.
Good
That
job,
is
CNN. Let's
completely.
have.
This is why I don't like Abby, really, because you're failing to be the moderator on this one, and then you're being one-sided. Mehdi Hassan said, if you don't want to be called Nazis, stop doing Nazi things. That's what he said. If you don't want to be called Nazis, stop doing Nazi things. I'm going to replay it.
If you don't want to be called Nazis, stop doing.
You're called an
stop saying-
anti-Semite. You've been called an
saying-
anti-Semite
stop
more than
saying
anyone.
Be called Nazis. Stop doing.
You're called an
stop saying-
anti-Semite. You've been
stop
called an
saying-
anti-Semite.
He was about to say stop doing Nazi things or stop doing something, but so you're admitting to calling people Nazis. Okay, that's fine. Okay.
More
saying
than anyone
things.
else's table.
Yeah.
And people would
By
sit there
you.
and.
Oh, he's saying
by me.
stop
I don't call
saying
you an anti-Semite.
things.
I mean, I'm not sitting here saying I don't.
I'm a supporter of the Palestinians, so I'm used to it. It's
Yeah,
fine.
well, I hope your beeper doesn't go off. The thing is
Did
that.
you just say I should
wow.
die?
You should not.
No, I
Did
said,
you just say
no,
I should be killed
No, I
on
did not
live
say
on
that. I
CNN?
said, no, I did not say that.
Hold on, hold on.
Did your guest just
Let
say
me-
I should
No, I
be
did
killed
not.
Hold
on
on.
live
say?
TV?
I said I hope
Guys,
you're.
let me just stop.
You said you hope my
Let
beeper
me-
doesn't go
Because
off.
you sound a
Stop
big
that
supporter
right now.
Of the Palestinians.
of Hamas.
Guys, let me
said
stop.
Palestinians.
Are you a supporter
Am I
of
what?
Hamas?
No, of course I'm not saying
Palestinians are
that.
not.
Then I
Are
apologize.
you a
Ryan.
Then I
racist,
apologize.
violent person
Then I
inciting
apologize.
violence against me?
Ryan.
That's
That
disgusting.
is completely.
No, I apologize.
Good
that
job,
is
CNN. Let's
completely
have first
out
block
of
say the
pocket.
Muslim guy
You
should
know
be
that.
blown
Then I
up
apologize.
on
Then I
TV.
apologize.
Don't
Then I
say
apologize.
then I
Wow.
apologize. You literally.
say
I
it.
thought you said
accused
Hamas.
him.
I apologize.
You didn't think I said
No,
Hamas.
no,
I
you
said I
didn't.
supported
Yes, I did.
Palestinian
Yes, I
rights.
did.
Why? Because when you hear
What's funny
Palestinian,
is
you
Rudy
hear Hamas.
Giuliani said this
No,
yesterday,
because-
so you're a great guest to
Listen.
be here
All
to
right,
defend
I
Rudy
told
Giuliani.
myself
Give me
I
one-
wasn't going to
give me-
entertain
give me one
nonsense
second.
today, and so at this point,
This is what we're in
I
now.
can't
This
do
is America in
Here's what
2024.
I will say.
Forget the
Here's what I-
racism.
That's right.
It's I should
That's
die.
right.
I didn't
That's-
say that.
that-
You
You
should
said,
die.
what does beeper mean? Don't give me your
I
fake
did not
ignorance.
say you should
Guys,
die.
Why did you say with my
give me-
beeper
give me
go
a-
off?
What did you mean?
What did you mean by the beeper?
So what did you mean?
What did you mean by the
No,
beeper?
no, 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 no.
No, you didn't. You said, I hope your beeper doesn't go off.
Ryan, stop talking.
At least
Sorry.
have the guts to support your racist
sorry.
comment.
Hang on.
With high
So Abby didn't even control the three people, and then the black woman is trying to insert herself, the black lesbian. She's trying to insert herself in the conversation. Shut up. Oh, I'm offended too by that comment. Shut up. And I'm not sticking up for that one guy. Yeah, he shouldn't have said, oh, I hope your beeper don't go off. Yeah, that was a horrible comment. But you're calling people Nazis. Like, what are you? They shouldn't be offended. You're calling me a Nazi. You're calling me a racist Nazi. And I should, the Nazis that killed, 6 million people? They committed genocide. And you're referring to me as those people? Come on now. What is this? There was a longer video. Let me see if I can find it. So I should be offended. I shouldn't be offended when you call me a Nazi. But when I say you're Hamas or whatever, and like I said, she shouldn't have said that other word, or that other statement. Now you're like, oh my God, you're so offended. I'm so offended by what you just said.
Thought.
calling.
We played the clips. Ryan.
Okay, but the
they
media,
said all of those
the
things.
media did not just say that Trump was Hitler. The media was saying that everyone who attended was
So did
Hitler.
Waltz.
The reason that yes, they did. Yes, they did.
Yes, they did.
Yes, they did. Over and over.
Excuse me,
They call
Ryan.
them. They said anyone who
Ryan,
attends
hang on just a second.
are Nazis,
Hang
fascists,
on
or
just
Hitlers.
one second, okay?
This is why she's so disingenuous. She's saying that the media's never said this, and you've been playing this over and over again. And then this other black woman is going to flat out lie saying, oh, his VP or his assistant said this. Like, what are you talking about? His assistant said he was a Nazi or Hitler. He refers to Hitler all the time. What are you saying?
Because it's the hyperbole that's getting me. You said the media called everyone who attended that rally
Yes,
Hitler?
they did. Yes, they
Okay,
did. They
so
said
when
if
we're
you
when
attend
we're
that
off the
rally,
show,
you are a fascist.
okay,
That is what they said.
Well, let's talk about this table right here.
Okay, I don't know what everyone said yesterday. I wasn't on all your
I
Twitter
didn't say
accounts.
anything.
Okay.
Ryan,
I just watched
that
it
did
discuss.
not happen.
Yes, it did.
And waiting
Yes,
for
it did.
people like you to
Abby
maybe
Phillips,
say something
it
great.
100% happened.
You didn't even get through all the clips. There was still Tucker Carlson doing replacement. Don Jr. did replacement. And then Trump himself turned up and talked about invading and occupying our country, which is the language of the far right. He talked about enemy of the people, which is Joseph Goebbels. He talked about enemy of the enemy within, which is literally Hitler. I mean, these are my problem is, I get it. Nobody wants to be called Nazis. It's very inflammatory. But if you don't want to be called Nazis, stop doing.
You're called an
You've
You've been called an anti-Semite more than anyone else's table.
Yeah.
And people would
By
sit there
you.
and no, by me. I never called you an anti-Semite. I mean, I'm not sitting here saying I don't.
I'm a supporter of the Palestinians, so I'm used to it. It's
Yeah,
fine.
I hope your beeper doesn't go off. The thing is
Did
that
you just say I should
wow.
die?
You should not.
No, I
Did
said,
you just say I
no,
should be killed?
No, I did not
Live
say
on
that. I
CNN?
said, no, I did not say that.
Hold on, hold on.
Did your guest just
Let me-
say I
No,
should
I
be
did
killed?
not.
What did you
On live
just say?
TV.
I said I hope
Guys,
you don't.
let me just stop.
You said you hope my
beeper
beeper
doesn't
doesn't
go
go
off.
Because you said I'm a big
Stop that
supporter
right now.
Of the
of
Palestinians.
Hamas.
Guys, let me
I said
stop.
Palestinians.
Are you? A supporter
Am I
of
what?
Hamas?
No, of course I'm not.
Palestinians
supporting
are
Hamas.
not-
Then I
Are
apologize.
you a
Then I
racist,
apologize.
violent person
Then I
inciting
apologize.
violence against
Ryan,
me?
Ryan.
That's disgusting.
That is completely.
Then I apologize.
Good
That
job,
is
CNN. Let's
completely
have first
out
block
of
say the
pocket.
Muslim guy
You
should
know
be
that.
blown
Then I
up
apologize.
on
Then I
TV.
apologize.
Don't
Then I
say
apologize.
then I
Wow.
apologize. You literally.
say
I
it.
thought you said
accused
Hamas.
him.
I
You didn't think I said
No.
Hamas.
No,
I
you
said I
didn't.
supported
Yes, I did.
Palestinian
Yes, I
rights.
did.
Why? Because when you hear
And what's funny
Palestinian,
is
you
Rudy
hear Hamas.
Giuliani said this
No,
yesterday,
because-
so you're a great guest to
Listen.
be here
All
to
right,
defend
I
Rudy
told
Giuliani.
myself
Give me
I
one-
wasn't going to
give me-
entertain
give me one
nonsense
second.
today, and so at this
This
point,
is what we're in
I
now.
can't
This
do
is America in
Here's what
2024.
I will say.
Forget the
Here's what I-
racism.
That's
It's
right.
I should
That's
die.
right.
I didn't
That's-
say that. You
You
should
said,
die.
what does beeper mean? Don't give me your
I
fake
did not say
ignorance.
you should
Guys,
die.
Why did you say
guys,
with my
give me-
beeper
give me
go?
a-
So what did you mean?
What did you mean by the beeper?
So what
I
did
said-
you mean?
What did you mean by the
No,
beeper?
no, no, no,
No, you didn't. You said, I hope your
Listen,
beeper doesn't go off.
Ryan,
Abby,
stop
I'm just
talking.
At least
Sorry.
have the guts to support your racist
sorry.
comment.
Hang on.
I'm so sorry.
let her bring it back.
This
Let her
is
bring it back.
this is
Hang on.
why. This is why yesterday's rally was disgusting.
Don't call us
and
Nazis, but I'm gonna
outrageous.
threaten the brown guy as a
This is
terrorist
why.
and kill him.
Because I didn't ever say Donald Trump was Hitler. But do you know who stood on a stage yesterday and said, I want to come to the Nazi rally? I don't have to make up words and call you something. You're saying it for yourself. And what you just said
Kamala
right
Harris
here,
is a pimp.
apologize, but I will tell you, I don't accept that apology, and you didn't even say it
That's
to
fine.
me.
I didn't say it
that
to
was
you.
disgusting. But I can be offended when you don't even say it to
That's-
me. I'm not Puerto Rican, but I was offended by what he said
Okay.
yesterday.
This is what I think. This is a problem with women too. She's taken morphed into like a what is it? A Karen white woman. That, like I said, with Sonny Holston, everything has to be about me. I was offended, and you didn't have to see. You didn't even apologize to me, and I don't accept your apology. Like, why are you making it about you? Mehdi Hassan was assaulted, I guess verbally, and so you're making it about you though. But you're so mad at this guy because he's the real problem is they're mad at these Republican or these conservative people. They're not mad at what he said. They're just mad because he even exists. That's the problem. He's a white man and he exists, and they're mad at that because he's voting for Donald Trump.
And I'm offended that the former president and potentially future president would allow it and go for 12 hours and not say, I don't care. Because you know what? When Kamala Harris put out statements about switching up opinions, it wasn't good enough for Republicans.
Why are you looking at me?
Because you said it.
Why don't you take this back a little bit and let her take the show?
You know what? No, listen.
Yeah, so exactly. Shut up. Shut up.
monopolizing
Actually,
her show.
No. Hold on one
Because
second.
I'm surprised you wouldn't even say what
Listen,
he just said.
we have a lot of. Hang on a
Yeah, I
second.
do.
We have a lot of heated conversations on this show. That is
Let
true.
her take it back.
But one of the things that I do not appreciate is when we cross the line. Okay.
You guys are always crossing the line. Shut the hell up. One thing I don't appreciate is when we cross the line. You're literally calling a man Hitler. Like a person. Hitler killed 6 million Jews. You're calling the worst genocide, probably not the worst genocide because there's other genocides that they don't teach us about. But this is one of the known genocides that we know in American history that's happened. And you're referring to Donald Trump as that person. That's not crossing the line. I mean, this is wild to me. It's like, and she's so disingenuous. Abby Phillips, I don't think she should have a show. I don't think so. Because she just almost like, I'm appalled. Why would you say that? Like, come on, Abby. Like, what are you talking about?
I don't appreciate that.
I apologize.
And
I
appreciate the apology, but I don't want a conditional apology for saying something that is completely. It is not civil in the slightest.
I misheard what he said.
Okay?
I thought he said Hamas.
There are lines here.
Yeah, I went on CNN and said I support Hamas. What kind of idiots do you take us for?
We got to stop this
That's a
stuff.
ridiculous thing
We
to
have
say.
to stop this stuff. Okay, we're gonna go to the break now.
Wow.
You are so disingenuous, Abby. Abby is really so disingenuous. You're telling this guy, I think it's actually his name is Ryan Dursky or something like that. But anyway, you're telling him he crossed the line. But you guys repeatedly cross the line every freaking single day. This is why Donald Trump already had 2 attempts on his life because of your rhetoric. And you are a Hamas sympathizer. Stop lying. You are a Hamas sympathizer. And you can't take that. And I'm speaking of Mehdi Hassan. You can't take that, but you're saying, hey, he's a Nazi. And everybody that goes to his rally is a Nazi. This is so crazy. And you expect us to like, you're using the word civilized. Like, come on. His name is Ryan Gudersky. Threat to Mehdi Hassan on live TV. They're talking about zero big. Listen to this statement. Let me just share this with you guys. CNN statement: there is zero room for racism or bigotry at CNN on our air. We aim to foster thoughtful conversation and debate, including between people who profoundly disagree with each other, in order to explore important issues and promote mutual understanding. But we will not allow guests to be deemed or for the line of civility to be crossed. Ryan Gudersky will not be welcomed back at our network. And she had to say
as you may have
something.
seen, Ryan was asked to leave the show, and we have put out a statement saying that he's not welcome back on our air. There is a line here on this program, and it was crossed. But I want to be clear as well that we did not ask Mehdi to not come back. In fact, we really wanted him to come back and finish the show. We had a lot to talk to him about. And we really hope that he'll join us again soon. But for those of you who are wondering why he did not come back, I just want to be super clear that that was not in any way because we didn't want him back at all. And I won't speak for him, but I just wanted to make sure that you all knew that that was not what happened there.
So they put out a statement. I think he did cross the line with that statement. He shouldn't say that statement or those type of statements. But if you're going to call a person a Nazi or Hitler, I will take offense to that. So instead of you're calling me a person that, hates other people, specifically Jewish people, and you're saying that I have that Nazi brain that I want to eradicate the Jewish people because you called me a Nazi and that's what they wanted to do. And so you're saying that I am that type of person. Of course I'm offended by that. You're literally saying I want to kill other types of people, want to cleanse, ethnic cleansing, because that's what what is it, birthright ethnic cleansing? Is that what Hitler used to talk about? And you're saying that I want to initiate those type of policies. But when he respond, okay, and I will get very upset when it's really upsetting when somebody will say those type of things to you. And so when I say, oh, I hope your beeper don't go off, you attack me, so I'll attack you. That's what normally happens. Does anybody have a beeper these days? Midi Hassan, do you carry a beeper? Like I said, he did cross the line with that. That was like, dang. Oh, like really? But it's like, if you're going to throw stones, you got to be able to receive it. You can't just spew out hate towards other people and they're not going to spew out hate. And who said he got to spew out the same hate towards you? His hate could be way more than yours. I tell my children every day, if you're going to dish out something and you got to expect to receive it, and you can't come running back and say, oh, I didn't hit him that hard. Well, you can't control how a person is going to react. You could control what you do, but you can't control what another person does. So if you can't take it, why dish it out? And then you draw the line like, oh no, you can't cross this line. Well, you're at the line, so, and I crossed it, so I'm in the wrong. That's why CNN is a felon network. I'm surprised they're still on air. They don't respect opinions. You're absolutely right. There's some self-righteous bigots. They are self-righteous bigots. And then they tried to call you a bigot or being racist, because you don't agree with them. Carrington is saying CNN, MSNBC, CBS, and ABC are full of narcissistic assholes. I would have absolutely had no problem with his beeper going off. Matter of fact, he should be in England bitching about their problems instead of getting paid bitching about ours. Exactly. He's taking another American's job. I don't know. He might be American, but and if he's not American, like, why the hell are you talking about our politics? Like, go over to England and talk. Like, go on Piers Morgan's show. You set up your own show and talk about. But why are you over here? The real traitors are the so-called Americans who support non-Americans before real life, long tax-paying Americans. Exactly. That's the enemy within. I was preaching that last week. This is what Trump is talking about. These fools in American government trying to support all these non-American people before they support their own people. It's very un-American. That's the enemy. You guys let me know if I'm going in the wrong direction. That is the enemy. Simpleton, thank you. So we're going to get to real quickly what Donald Trump was talking about. I'm not going to play his whole thing, but I just want to play a snippet of it. He had a... Oops, what's going on? Is this his press? Yeah. So it was about an hour-long press conference, but let me see. Before I play it, okay. I think I'm going to play the first maybe 15 minutes of it.
Thank you. Such great spirit. I want to start by saying it's going very well. There are some bad spots in Pennsylvania where some serious things have been caught or in the process of being caught, but the election itself is going very well. We're leading, I believe, in all 7 swing states. So I appreciate everybody's work, and the spirit is unbelievable. I don't think there's ever been anything like it in our country's history, frankly, because we want to see our country get better. And that's why we're here, just to do a statement. And it's an honor to have some of our friends here. In less than 4 years, Kamala Harris has obliterated our borders, obliterated. We've never had a situation like this. Decimated the middle class, and runaway inflation has caused problems, the likes of which we never thought possible. Bloodshed, squalor to our cities is common, and they've unleashed a war and chaos all over the world. You take a look, everything's blowing up or getting ready to blow up. No respect for our country anymore, no respect for our leadership. No person has caused so much destruction and death at home and abroad should ever be allowed to be the President of the United States. You can't have that. Can't have that. So I'm running on a plan to save America. We're going to save America. We have no choice. It's the greatest there is. We love it, and we're going to save it. We have no choice. And it's going to be saving it from the incredible destruction that's been caused by crooked Joe Biden and Kamala. And she's responsible because he wasn't responsible, and she never said that. He didn't know too much about what was happening. Maybe that was exposed during the debate. And yet still the way they took that away from him was not right. It wasn't right. Shouldn't have happened that way. They walked in, they said, we're taking it away. They stole the presidency of the United States. You can call it a coup, you can call it whatever, but they stole it. They went in like taking candy from a baby, and can't have that. And she's running on a campaign of demoralization and really a campaign of destruction. But really, perhaps more than anything else, it's a campaign of hate, it's a campaign of absolute hate. And, you know, I said yesterday that she's a vessel, she is a vessel. It's a very big, powerful party with smart people, have to be smart, but it's vicious, they're vicious, and they're perhaps even trying to destroy our country. Because who would want open borders where millions of people can flow in from prisons and from gangs, the worst gang members anywhere in the world? Who would want this for our country? Who would want all of these transgender operations all over the place, like at will? Even if you're in detention, I want a transgender. These are things she used to have. Who wants to defund the police? She's wanted her whole career to defund the police. She only changed recently. She changed on 15 different items. Fracking. She was against fracking at the highest level. Wouldn't even think about it. Now all of a sudden, oh, I'd like fracking very much. But they change after the election in about 2 minutes, and I think Pennsylvania understands that. After 2 assassination attempts in just over 3 months, her lies and her slanders are very shameful and really inexcusable. And I can say that if I were president and somebody was being threatened, openly threatened, like they've threatened even concerning their opponents, as you know. Today we're going to talk about the real character of Kamala, and a person who has no remorse for the anguish she's inflicted upon families all across America. On the contrary, I have to tell you, Kamala intends to conflict and keep this misery going, and she's going to keep it going as long as she can, because that's the only way she can get elected. She's going out and only criticizing, talking about Hitler and Nazi, and because her record's horrible. Her borders are the worst in the history of the world. There's never been a border in the world like this. I always say in third world countries, banana republics, they'd fight them away with sticks and stones if they had to. We let them come in, come on in. Knowing in many cases they're murderers, they're drug lords, they're traitors in so many ways to our country. If they were involved in our country at all, even that, they're coming back in. People that left because they were traitors are coming back in. Everybody's coming back in. And it's at a level that we've never seen before. Criminals off the streets. And you know, other countries from where they're coming are now setting records, good records for them, where crime is down 70 and 75% because they're taking the criminals off the street. They're emptying their jails into our country. And they're not finished yet. I'm amazed. I thought they would have done it by now, but if you take a look at Venezuela, their crime is way, way, way down. Then you go to Caracas and you wouldn't recognize it. You can actually walk the streets without being shot or killed or mugged. It's becoming a safe city because they've taken all their criminals. Most of them, the rest are coming. They're all coming. They've taken their drug dealers and they've put them into the United States of America. Thank you very much, Kamala. I appreciate it. But she continues, and she will continue this misery, and her policies have caused such harm and such pain. And the 3 great people up here with me are going to just discuss that for a little while, about what's happened to them, how their lives have been shattered. I'd like to begin with the story of one mother whose life Kamala has utterly destroyed this life. And we're talking about thousands of people in very similar situations. Every day under Kamala, open border policies. And if you remember, Joe Biden appointed her as the border czar. She doesn't want to use that term, but let's say we'll just use a different term. She was responsible for the borders, totally responsible. She never made one call to Border Patrol. 2 weeks ago, the Border Patrol endorsed me with the most beautiful endorsement I think I've ever gotten. And in all fairness, they've endorsed me every single year, but they've endorsed me again, and they endorsing me, saying I was the best president we've ever had and the best president by far on the border. They said that, and this is not easy for them to say, they said that she was easily the worst person ever to work with them on the border, most incompetent, the least caring. Think of it. Not one call in almost 4 years was made to Border Patrol. Like, how are we doing? I used to call all the time. I'd say, how are we doing, fellas? How's it going? Is it going well? And they're great people, men and women, Border Patrol, great people. They want to do their job. She didn't call them once. She released the 2 men who murdered this woman's very precious daughter. Everything you need to know about what happened and the character of Kamala Harris, you'll know from just watching this video. We had it done yesterday. It's very, very quick, very easy to do, but it was very heartbreaking. We showed it in a room full of people, and everybody was crying. Some pretty tough people were crying. Please take a look.
Sunday night, I asked her to not stay up super late because of her coming to work with me in the morning first to do her summer school. She said, okay. I told her good night and I love you. I went to bed, not realizing that that was going to be the last time I saw her.
We're best friends.
Yeah.
We're going shaking again.
I woke up to notice she wasn't in her bed. I'm in my heart trying not to lose my mind because I don't know where she is. I finally remembered her phone had a location on, and her phone was pinging just 2 minutes down the road, right behind the skate park. I start driving to the direction the phone was being pinged at, and I see a couple cop cars with lights on. I see yellow tape, and immediately my heart drops and sinks to the bottom of my stomach. My daughter's hands and ankles were both bound. She was strangled to death, but left with no pants. And I know in my heart, she fought incredibly hard. She was not going down without a fight.
We begin with two men we're learning are charged with capital murder tonight, accused of killing a 12-year-old girl.
Police say these men strangled her before dumping her into that creek. Both men were in the country illegally.
Apprehended, then released by Border Patrol less than 3 weeks before Jocelyn's death. The men accused of killing Jocelyn Nungare are affiliated with the gang known for brutal violence.
Kamala Harris was in charge of immigration in our borders. If we had better border policies and not open borders and not these catch and release policies, I truly believe this all could have been prevented. Under her being vice president of this country, my daughter's life was ripped away from her. She had her entire life ahead of her.
Happy birthday, dear Jocelyn.
My daughter is 6 feet in the ground based off of policies that she allowed to keep. Kamala Harris did have one job, and she not only failed, not me, she failed my daughter. She failed Jocelyn. You know, she was only 12. President Trump reached out, gave me his sincerest condolences as not a former president, but just as a father, someone who cares. I believe Donald Trump needs to be back in office. I can at least know that my next child will be safe in this country.
Thank you very much. So I know we talk about inflation and the economy, but to me, there's nothing more important than the fabric of our country being destroyed by people placed there, violently placed there, as far as I'm concerned, foolishly, stupidly placed there. I think what's happening on the border is the single biggest issue, and I'm seeing it more and more when I speak. I see it more. Inflation's terrible. It's hurting our country. It's just decimating our seniors. That's why I talk about Social Security, no tax for.
So I'm not going to go on further. If you guys go to Donald Trump's page, you could view the entire press conference. But he's basically saying, hey, I think the most pressing, single most important issue is the country's safety. If we don't have safety, who cares if we have low inflation? You know, people can't walk to the grocery store. Jocelyn Nungare, she was going to the convenience store. She got up early to go to the convenience store before she went to summer school. And that's how they end up basically kidnapping her and doing some horrific things. These people, they were already in custody, but they let these people go. They let them go. And it's saying that the two suspects were identified. The guys was 22 and 26. They were arrested at this Canfield Lake apartment back in June of 2024. Now I didn't know this. I live in Michigan. J.D. Vance was here in Michigan giving a talk. You know, he had a rally or whatever. And he threw out some numbers. I didn't know we had 50,000 new immigrants, illegals here. I didn't know that. just in Metro Detroit. I mean, I see them. Like if you go to the Walmart, they're stocking, putting, some of them have a job. So I guess these are documented, hopefully. But some of them are, placing groceries in on the shelves and stuff. But I didn't know that. But then I came across where there was a man. They said he was in a relationship with this girl in Michigan. Undocumented immigrant charged with the murder of this woman's death, and he dumped her on one of the highways. This was back in March.
Did you watch the news?
You guys let me know if you can hear this.
Like, I never thought.
Justin, to our newsroom tonight, a man is behind bars and faces a felony charge in the death of a woman from Grand Rapids.
Yeah, it's after 25-year-old Ruby Garcia was found dead on US 131 over the weekend. Police say she was shot multiple times. Now we're also learning a lot about the suspect in this case. 25-year-old Brandon Ortiz Vita. News Channel 3's Autumn Pitcher joins us from Grand Rapids. And Autumn, police telling you that the suspect wasn't supposed to be in the U.S.
Yes, that's right. Brandon was a Mexican citizen who was in the United States illegally. That's according to federal agencies. Now, he was removed by an immigration judge back in 2020, and it is currently unknown how or when he got back into the country.
Why are we saying it's unknown? They let him in. What are we saying here? They let him in. They're not keeping track of people. And he's not supposed to be here. He was removed by the judge probably because they looked at his criminal record back in 2020. But when Joe Biden rolled back 91 border security executive orders that Trump wrote, it was a free fall. And then we're wondering why people are upset. I just don't understand. If anything, and you don't realize, if anything, you should be just voting for Donald Trump just off of this alone, because Kamala Harris, she had the borders. She was the border czar. That was her main responsibility, and she didn't do it. She was horrible at her job. So she should be fired. And, I can't imagine being a mother or sister and you're telling me this person my family member was killed by a person that was not supposed to be here. And then I hear all this horrific things about the border in Joe Biden's administration of how they're not even handling the border.
Now, Ortiz Vite was found and arrested Sunday in Allegan County. Michigan State Police say he turned himself in. Now, police say Garcia was shot while riding in the car with Ortiz Vite. Her body found late Friday night, just before midnight on US 131 near Leonard Street. Ortiz Vite was charged today with felony murder, open murder, carjacking, carrying a concealed weapon, and felony firearm. Police say the two had a romantic relationship and domestic violence played a role. On Sunday, he was booked in the Kent County Jail on outstanding warrants from 2020. Police are not new to Ortiz Vite, as he has had several run-ins since 2017, including drunk driving and illegal entry into a residence. Now, Kent County Prosecutor Chris Becker says it's hard to get people to help police when someone is illegally in the U.S.
There is that circle of violence and control, and one of the things this control is, okay, now you've got this immigration status and what pressure that puts on the victims in terms of not cooperating with police, not helping out law enforcement and stuff like that. So it's an entirely different dynamic that we do see in Kent County. This is, so we've got two cases now where it resulted in homicides.
Did he say two cases now resulted in homicides? You're saying, hey, help the authorities, okay, but you're going to release him. How did he get back? You guys are not even doing your job. And you're blaming the citizens? That's what it sounded like. He was blaming the citizens because they said, oh, they're not cooperating with the authorities. Well, you had him in your custody, and I guess he was deported, but then the actual federal government let him back in. So what are you saying? So it's our problem now? That's why everybody should be strapped. Everybody should know how to use a gun. Woman, man, and child. Teach your kids how to use the gun, because if you're downstairs or whatever and they don't know how to get the gun, you need to teach your kids how to use the gun. I'm sorry. Teach your kids how to shoot so they know how to protect themselves. Now, I'm not saying go give them a gun. No. What is it? Supervise them, take them to the gun range and teach them how to shoot. At least a rifle. They need to know how to shoot. Because it seems like the government is leaving it up to you. You can't call 911. Yeah, let me call 911 so I can get this illegal away from me or whatever. And they don't operate by the same rules. You could threaten to call 911. They don't give a shit. If they have some type of thing that they're going to do to you, they're going to do it, because these are violent people. But, let me call 911. It's going to be too late. And number two, okay, you got them in custody, and now what? You let them go? And now they're here again? Thanks, Mr. Border Patrol or police officer. I mean, if Kamala Harris is in office, I swear, you guys, you gotta be able to use a rifle, be able to use a gun. You gotta take the law in your own hands, because they're not gonna be able to help you. You gotta help yourself. Anyway, that was a short story. I really wanted to show what Donald Trump was talking about. Let's get to, let me see what you guys are saying. Natural Beauty, she's saying what they have done is nothing short of treason. Outcast, this is so sad. And again, how many known terrorists have been allowed to run free in America in the last 3.5 years? They're estimating terrorists they're saying that it was like 13,000 people known on the terrorist watch list. Now, this is known. What about the unknown? Like those numbers that they came out about 3 to 4 weeks ago, they were saying it was about 13,000. Or maybe it was 11,000, but whatever. It's in the thousands that's over here in the U.S. Probably planning another attack. He should be made an example, but Kamala just gonna coddle him and use taxpayer dollars for his lawyers. Exactly. And then he's gonna be in the U.S. prison system, and we're going to have to pay for him to be housed there. And they get like $35,000 to $65,000 a inmate per year. So another tax burden on the taxpayer citizens. I'm in Metro Atlanta and I see illegals everywhere. They're everywhere. They're estimating about 20 million people that came over here in the last 3.5 years. That's the estimate. Remember Kamala Harris, she was interviewed on Fox with Brett Baier, and he asked her the first question, do you know the amount of illegals in here that were caught and released in the United States? They were caught illegally crossing the border, and they just released them in the United States. This is on the number on top of the number that we know that's over here. They said 6.5. He said 6.5 million. She had no idea. 6.5 million people that were crossing over here illegal, not at the port of entry, and they released them, still in the United States. On top of the 11 million people that we already know that were over here through the port of entry. And just because they came through the port of entry, that don't mean they came over here legally. They just opened up the port. They gave them a tag. Oh, here's your number. And they shipped them off. That's why they don't know where the 330,000 kids are at. Carrington is saying it's about 400,000 illegals in Georgia. That's crazy. Gun or knife only for protection, obviously supervised. Exactly. I'm 3 hours from Del Rio, and there are so many. We're nervous here. Yeah, and just imagine being in a small town like Springfield, Ohio, and it's the town is only a town of 30 to 40,000 people, but you open up the floodgates and put 30,000 people on a 40,000 town. That doesn't even make no sense. So you know their system is overwhelmed. Tyrone saying New York looks like a revolutionary country due to illegals. They are really in Clearwater, Florida. Jennifer is saying please vote Trump. If Trump loses and gets convicted of crimes for trying to illegal overturn the election, he will always be known as the most corrupt president in history, and it won't even be close. Jay Lord is saying over 30 million since Biden administration. That comes from the military guy. See, that's even worse. Just imagine 30 million people. They can't even service the people remember our system got overwhelmed with COVID, from COVID incidents or sickness. The system was overwhelmed. So you're saying everybody had to take a vaccine. You even fired people because of the vaccine. Now the states are getting sued for that, and they were awarding people their jobs back and back pay, and they're getting a settlement from that. And it's a lot of suits are being settled because of this. But anyway, you're saying, oh, you got to take these vaccines. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got to stay indoors. But all the while, when Biden takes over, you're putting all the restrictions on us, and then you open the border. You didn't give them the damn vaccine. You don't know if they sick. You don't know what type of illnesses they carry. And they're able to roam. They're sleeping on the streets. They're sleeping piling up in the airport, sleeping at the airport, and they're sleeping, taking over the police office or police station. You didn't put no restrictions on them, but it's okay. It's okay for them to do it, but your own people, you put all these restrictions on. Doesn't make any sense. And yeah, right. J. Lord, you're right. They embellish COVID big time, because if you look at the numbers as far as COVID deaths, and the numbers as far as other illnesses like heart diseases and whatever, those tanked. Literally nobody died of heart disease during COVID. Everybody died of COVID. Everyone died of COVID. They didn't die of no illness. They just put related to COVID. Doesn't make any sense. Oh, and you guys, I didn't tell you, Bill Gates, they are in the Netherlands. Bill Gates is being indicted. I don't know if you read this. He's being indicted. He's supposed to stand trial because of the lies he told because of the COVID vaccine. I don't know if you guys read this story. Bill Gates to stand trial in the Netherlands in COVID vaccine injury lawsuit. It says Bill Gates can now stand trial regarding the case involving 7 people injured in COVID. The 7 plaintiffs allege that Gates misled them about the safety of the COVID shot. They're suing him. You know, Bill Gates was all in Africa talking about we're going to render service to these African people. I guess you wanted to save them. All the while, Bill Gates, he's evil too. Bill Gates is an evil man. And they're suing them. And hopefully the U.S. will catch wind. They need to be suing Dr. Fauci, all the players, you know, the big pharma people that's saying, oh, get your COVID shot. You need a boost. You know, you get boosts every 6 months. And all the while COVID doesn't stop you from getting COVID. It doesn't stop you from getting COVID. So why is it called a vaccine? And then you have other illnesses that's coming up regarding the COVID vaccine. And now it sounds like these are other. This is the ground news, but it sounds like other people are chiming in. It's 37 articles that was written about Bill Gates. Anyway, let's get to your girl Tiffany Henyard real quick before I get offline. You know, she gave this long talk, Tiffany Henyard gave this long talk about why they lying on her, and you know this is a personal attack, and you know they just want my seat, and they know I'm called by God, blah 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 blah. Okay. But she's facing eviction. They're saying this one news piece, Dalton Mayor Henyard will seek to arrest political opponents as she faces eviction.
You know, Dad always asked that we look after Mom when he passed away.
I know, but she insisted on moving.
Hey guys, come on in, come on in. It's your favorite super mayor, Tiffany A. Henyard, the people's mayor. I will be seeking arrests for individuals involved. I will be pressing charges. It's a lot. And that's just me telling you a little bit. Because all this point the finger to Tiffany or allow me, I'm over it. Now it's time for me to speak. As I say, truth speaks. That's what time it is. So stay tuned. In your turn. Not when it's time to run and you're promising me the world. No. Residents, hear me. You don't need that. You don't want that. It's time out for that. It's time now to make a stand with your supervisor, Tiffany A. Henyard, a.k.a. Super Mayor, Mayor of Dalton, the first female in both places. It's time. And I want women to stand up. Stop fighting each other. I never seen this crab in the barrel mentality. I just haven't. But, like I said, if it can happen to me, it can happen to you. But what I want us to do is band together. Because it's unity amongst community for me. It always has been. You ain't never going to see a politician that do 40 events in a year who overworks themselves. You gotta care if you're gonna put in that much work. Who gonna make events for the kids and the youth? Who gonna make sure they always do something? But answer this, residents, please answer this one question: why is it when supervisor, aka Mayor Henyard, do an event, y'all call it wasteful spending, or she doing this or doing that?
So you saw a snippet of Tiffany Henyard. She's Tiffany seeking to jail her political opponents. I guess Jason House. You seeking to jail your political opponents. You also mentioned you want to band together with other women, and you saying crab in the barrels mentality. You're the only crab. I only see one crab in the barrel, and that's you, Tiff.
Y'all know this is a smear campaign, right? Smear campaign. That's what they do to people that they cannot control, that they cannot get out the way.
Embattled Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard in a rambling Facebook video nearly 90 minutes long. She posted that as she's facing more trouble.
She and her boyfriend are being evicted from the house they rent in Dalton. Together, the couple makes more than $300,000, according to public payroll records. But their landlord says they're not paying the rent. She talked with Dane Placco.
Initially, I didn't want to go on camera, but right now I feel like I'm at wit's end. I have nowhere else to turn.
Janetta Hull says she considered Tiffany Henyard a friend and even did campaign work for the Dalton mayor and Thornton Township supervisor. But things changed in 2021 when she was about to rent out this 3-bedroom, 2-bath home she owns in Dalton to a family and got a late-night call from the mayor.
And she's like, hey, this is Mayor Henyard. And I'm like, hi. And then she's like, I heard that you were renting your house. And I said, yeah. And I said, I have somebody that's moving in soon. And she says, no, they can't move in because I want it. And I'm like, excuse me?
Feeling pressured, Hull says she agreed to rent the house to Henyard and her boyfriend, Kamal Woods, who holds a 6-figure job at the township. Henyard signed the original lease, and on the line asking about her job.
You see here, she only put mayor for employment.
Henyard makes nearly $300,000 as mayor and township supervisor, but is the focus of an ongoing FBI investigation for extravagant spending, questionable contracts, and using tax dollars for personal gain. Hull says things started to unravel this summer when she was forced to raise the rent by $200 to $2,400 a month because her property taxes went up again.
So with that, I had to equate that into the rent. And Kamal said that he couldn't afford it.
She says Henyard and Woods refused to pay the extra rent in August, then stopped paying altogether.
Did they pay for September?
No.
Did they pay for October?
No.
That's why you're trying to get them removed?
Yes.
Hull says not only are the couple thousands of dollars behind in rent, but they also changed the locks and garage door code so she can't get inside.
If I push and go over there with the locksmith and try to change them back, I think that she's going to probably have me arrested.
So Hull went to court and filed an eviction lawsuit against Henyard and Woods. But Cook County sheriffs have tried and failed to serve that suit, both at the home and Village Hall. Now Hull is paying a process server to track one of them down.
What position does this put you in?
A very hard position. I'm between a rock and a hard place. I haven't worked in several months, and I am fearful that I may lose the house.
She says Henyard blocked her months ago, but with all the controversy surrounding Henyard's spending of tax dollars, she wants to send the mayor a message.
At some point, you would have to understand that karma is going to catch up to you. Just pay your rent.
She says even if Henyard and her boyfriend come up with that money, she still wants them out of her house, which is on a month-to-month lease. We reached out to the couple and Henyard's criminal defense attorney, but so far have not received a response. Dane Placco, Fox 32 Chicago.
I'm not surprised by this. I remember I was saying I think the landlord shot herself in the foot. I would have told.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Scott Schneider.
And I'm Dawn Hasbrook. We began with a shocking attack inside a car dealer's show.
I would have told Tiffany, I can't do that because they already have a signed lease. They're moving in, and which they did. You can't exert yourself on my property. So apparently she knew Tiffany. Okay, this is what she said on Jedediah's program. Let me pull that up for you.
And Allah will ask on the day of judgment, who did this to you?
Which upset me because my family was like, yeah, you should do it. I think that, I think that she'll be a reliable tenant and she should be able to pay her and him because, he's an affluent business professional. He owned several businesses. And I had known her family and I had no problems with the Henyard family. I had just met Tiffany though in 2017 when I moved to Dalton. But I've known her family since I was 15.
You know her family. Wow. And so and obviously those are good reasons. Nobody could have imagined or expected any of this.
Exactly.
Fair enough. Okay, so you let her in, and when does things go bad?
From the start, honestly. So when she moved in, she demanded that I buy her vertical blinds. And I said, no, I don't.
It's funny.
I said, I don't supply window treatments. And she says, well, for all of my properties, I do. And I said, but I don't. I said, that's not something that's supposed to be covered in the lease. She says, well, I would like some blinds. So I bought the regular, $6 Home Depot blinds and dropped them off over at the house. And she says, no, I want vertical blinds. And being someone that I feel like I'm kind of stylish, right? I think that my houses are decorated nicely. I'm like, no one even uses vertical blinds anymore. You should put window treatments up, but okay, whatever. She was like, well, I'll leave them with the house when I leave. And I'm like, okay. So that was the first thing. And then she said, okay, well, I don't like the color of the bedroom. I said, okay, well, paint it. And then paint it back to the color it is. And she says, no, I want you to paint it. So $400 later, I paid someone to paint the master bedroom. So I'm thinking she just moves in.
This is why. Let me tell you a story. I sell window treatments. That's one of my business. I sell window treatments, and they get pretty pricey. Some of the window treatments, if they're draperies, they get pretty expensive. I sold this one job, not the most expensive job I had, and it was a residential customer. I think the job was probably around $6,000 or $7,000. The lady ordered some motorized draperies from me, and they were going to hang on the ceiling. Okay, so she started asking me all kinds of questions, blah blah blah, which is valid questions. Asked me how I'm going to anchor it, blah blah blah. What type of anchor tools would I use? Would I create holes? Blah, all kinds of stuff. I'm like, no, I do this professionally, and I have professional installers. I'm not going to create a hole. But anyway, I didn't take it, as an offense. But she was one of those type of people that the seller. So she's like one of those or a buyer that investigate. They want to know how things work, and that's not a problem because I'm going to explain it to you. But what really was the tipping point, she called me one day and said, Chawanne, you did this to my furniture. And I'm like, okay, what did I do to your furniture? This is prior to me even putting in the order. She called me like the very next day after she put her deposit down. And she was like, you did this to my furniture, and this is Bergdorf furniture, and you need to fix it. So she texted me a picture, and it was lacquered furniture. So what I did was like, oh, okay, maybe I did. So I end up getting I called the company where she actually bought the furniture from, and they said, oh yeah, just take it to a reputable place, and they could, fix it for you. So I did that, and she was unsatisfied. So I was like, well, Miss so-and-so, you could pick out your place and just, tell me what they'll charge. And she picked out, and she was still unsatisfied. She came in, she was trying to act like, oh, she came in, she didn't know I owned the business. This is when I had a storefront. She asked to speak to the owner, and I was like, well, I am the owner. And so she was like taken aback by that, number two. And then, we went kind of back and forth, and I was like, well, I thought this was satisfactory for me, and she wanted me to buy her new furniture, and I refused. And so I was like, you know what? I thought about it for a minute, and I was like, I end up calling her. No, I didn't even call her. I just refunded her money. And she called me 3 weeks later saying, oh, Chawanne, when am I going to get my draperies? I was like, Mrs. So-and-so, I returned your money. I said, I don't think this is going to work out. You think after you return, if you get a credit of $4,000, you will kind of figure out you're not getting any services. But no. Then I was like, no, I don't think this is going to work out for me and you. Because we can't seem to agree. It was the whole thing with your furniture. I'm $400 in fixing your furniture. Then you still not satisfied. I just think I'm not going to satisfy you. You're not my type of customer. So you're more than welcome to, find other people that could cater to you to, fit your requirement. But I don't think I fit your requirement. And so she was like, oh, this is disappointing and blah, blah, blah. Well, what can I say? So I think that's what she should have done. You know what? This is not working out for me. Really don't need this type of trouble because all money is not good money. And she should have kicked her ass out. That's what she should have done.
And then she's just demanding things. So that's when I knew that it was going to be a long journey between us.
Oh my God. And I've heard this so many times. People know this from day one. People say when she first became mayor, when she first became supervisor, when she first was this, like, automatically this is not going to be as dreamful as you want it to be. So let me ask you a question. Are you okay with public comments before I switch our screen?
Check this out. I'm going to show you how I afforded this car. Okay, you ready? All right, 100.
Oh, can you read the screen? Can you see the comments?
So I was on my computer and I lost connection for some reason. So now I'm on my phone and I see you and me as participants, but I don't.
This isn't our plan screen, and so I'm supposed to transition, but I want, because I know you are private. I don't know, you've done nothing wrong. But if you feel like comments will distract you or throw you off, then that's fine. But you got a lot of people on here and they're talking, and it helps me if I see them. But if you don't want it, then they're gonna stay over there.
No, public comments are fine. I don't want to.
Public comments are fine. Would you need to? This is meet everybody else. That's everybody else. Okay, so the question for me first off. Well, no, what? Let me make sure I say this. First of all, thank you for coming on here. I'm honored that you chose to be here on INA. And I don't think you knew this, but I told you when we did talk, I've been praying for you. And the reason I was praying for you is because I talked to the sweetest woman when I was looking for you. I talked to the sweetest lady, and she didn't want to tell me none of your business. She didn't want to get involved. Her daughter is precious and private. I talked to your mother months ago. You know that lady love you, don't you?
I do.
Did she tell you she talked to my ghetto self?
She did not. And then today when I mentioned it to her, she said, Jed talks so much.
I did not. I literally just was like, but we didn't say, she didn't tell me your business. We just was praying for you because you've been going through things. You've been suffering in silence for quite a while. And so one of those things is you simply wanted to inspect your property. Tell us about the problems that you run into.
Yeah. The last time I've actually stepped foot in my house was December of 2022. And right before that, when I stepped foot in my house, the police came like I had killed somebody. I mean, they came full force. And they said that she made a call because she has cameras on the house. So they said she made a call. I was trying to get into the house. I had already talked to them, and I told them that I was going to put the house in the market. I wanted to get a new renter. And crickets. They didn't text back. So then I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to keep moving the way I want to move. And the day came. I took my realtor over there. We opened the door. The alarm went off. So I'm calling Kamal's phone. I'm calling Tiffany's phone. I'm like, the alarm is going off. I need you to shut the alarm off. No one answered. The police came full force. They said, Tiffany called us, said that you were here and you were trespassing. She said, that if I was to enter the home, to arrest me. So then I'm like, arrest me, I own this house. And they were like, that doesn't matter. And I'm like, what? So they're like, well, we were told our instructions were to arrest you if you entered the house. He said, well, maybe you should come down to the police station and talk to Chief Lacey. And I'm like, okay. So I got in my car and I went down and talked to Chief Lacey, and I sat down in his office and I said, so what is going on? I said, how can I be arrested and it's my property? I own the house. And he says, no, that's not how the law goes. Because she's a tenant, because she's renting, you're trespassing. I said, are you sure that's the way the law goes? And he says, yes. At that moment, I felt bamboozled. I know how the law is written. I know that I can give, 48 hours notice and enter my property. But they used it to their advantage. After that, the furnace broke in December, and I was there, and Kamal tried to stick me with a bill, even though I had a warranty on the furnace. And we bickered then, and I wind up serving him a 5-day notice then. And then we wind up, agreeing that he was to pay that, and it was to not come out of the rent. That was the last time I was inside my house. When I went this past Saturday,
He said it come out of the rent.
they wanted it to come out of the rent. Tiffany yelled at me and said, no, you should be paying for this. I said, I would have paid for this. I got here within an hour of your call. I would have paid for this. Yourself to call somebody else to fix it. I don't know who those people are. You have to give me a certain amount of time to fix it. You say, oh, no, I'm not going to have my family sit in the cold. Which is understandable. It's December. I get it. But you have to pay that now. Saturday, I went to the house because I need to do furnace maintenance. I got there and the garage door code was changed, and so were the locks.
Wow. Before I go any further, somebody beefing with me in my chat. Brown, don't be making her smile like that. That's my job, says Karen.
I didn't see anything. I'm sorry.
It's on the screen. Karen, Caron, said, Brown, don't be making her smile like that. That's my job. You want me to block Karen?
You can sell this $5 spatula on Amazon and compete with hundreds of other spatula sellers.
I'm just playing. I don't know what that is, but look, this is maybe a fan or something. Anyway, it's a compliment. I don't know. So you very, 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 very adamant about just doing what's right for them. They make it difficult. And I'm not trying to lead the conversation. This is my understanding. They were not easy. They've not been easy tenants. But in all fairness, when you were going through these things and you were giving them these notices, because if I'm not mistaken, based on my intelligence or understanding, you had found them. You had served them an eviction before.
I served them a 5-day notice, not an eviction.
Oh, you served them. Oh, so did you ever use the detective agency of Carolyn Avant?
I think that's her name. But that was a 5-day notice that I was serving.
You had to pay somebody to serve you know what? I'm sorry. No, I'm not.
I think I paid a few $100s for that.
You had to put that on the door. So wait, that's because you couldn't go back on your property. You know what, Tiffany? Run her money. Run her mother. You couldn't even serve them a 5-day notice because the person. And you know what? Let me do something because.
What's a 5-day notice? The 5-day eviction notice or 5-day notice to enter into the property? Is that what she's trying to say? You guys put it in chat. I'm not kind of confused.
I just want to be very clear here. I don't want to be defaming on any level, but give me 1 second because you said that somebody said that if you go back, you are trespassing, you going to jail, it's your property, and I just need to know, is this the person that said that to you? 1 second. Is that the guy?
Yes.
That's the guy, Mr. Clitteroom himself, ladies and gentlemen. You have it right here in a lineup. I should have put like 3 other pictures up there. So out there would have been cool. But here it is, a positive ID. Chief Lacey. Did he show up to the house at that call?
No, I went to the station to see him.
Okay, so you have all these cops come. You go to the police station. You talk to Lacey. He says you go back. You're going to jail. Okay, what do we know if that's lawful or not? Can I get my investigators to do me a favor? Do me quick research. Let's find out if that is legal in the state of Illinois. I want to see if we can fact check that real quickly. I want to know. So we're going to fact check that. So you can't go back on now. Any interaction with them, you got to pay for it. So you hire a detective agency to serve them a 5-day notice. Why didn't it get to an eviction then?
Because they paid. They paid, I think, come January 1st. I got December and January's rent.
January, December's paid, January's paid, the furnace is fixed. Did they take that out the rent?
No. So Tiffany's thing is she wants to see, she gonna press you to see how far you'll go. So if she can get over on you, she will. But at the end of the day, at that point in my life, you know, we raised by the same pack of wolves. Like, we can do a stalemate. You can get this 5-day notice and you can move around. So she just
You should have went through the 5-day notice. You knew this is why I believe this woman's, and no shade to the woman, she shot herself in the own foot. On day one, she was giving you a hard time. Then you're late. This is the ample opportunity to say, hey, let's get this nightmare of a tenant out of here. She wanted you to put blinds and you don't supply blinds. She wanted you to paint the bedroom a different color. And you said, oh, I don't have a problem with you painting the bedroom, but then you pay for somebody to paint the bedroom. That's just ridiculous. You're jumping through hoops for a lady that is supposed to be your tenant. Who gives a damn? She's a part-time mayor. She's literally the part-time mayor. She don't get that much pull. And even if she had the pull of the police officer, what more can they do to you? You own the property. I mean, they could do some illegal inspections and deem it like, oh, uninhabitable, but I don't think they wouldn't have did that because Tiffany's living there. Is no point of getting an inspection unless she's, changing the property. So that wouldn't have happened. And there's legal courts that would have rendered that or took care of that situation if that would have went through. But she shot herself in her own foot just playing in Tiffany's playground and playing around with her. She should have put her foot down. No, you got to leave. I wouldn't even let her in my property.
Wants to see if you're going to fight with her. And of course, we can't physically fight. So we have to fight with court.
And so you got both months like you were supposed to. If you do me a favor, there's going to be a beat drop. I just need to put your hand in the air and you're going to smack. This is just smacking there, okay? I don't know if you ever seen it before, but when this beat drop, I need you to whoop that. You got to whoop ass in the air because you got that money. So I'm going to help you out. Just put your hand up when I do, okay? No, when I do it, okay? That's all you got to do. Put your hand up slowly. And then you got to, when the beat drop, smack that ass. Okay, now I'm so serious. I don't know if they told you who you was coming over to interview with. So yeah, you tapped that ass. You got your money. Give me my money. Okay, so after that, does everything start to like normalize? Are you having any more issues after that?
Yeah, we started to normalize. Around that time is when Tiffany stopped talking to me. She stopped responding in group. Right, there's a group between Kamal, me, and Tiffany. So then I just took it to just me and Kamal from then on. We can just have a conversation together. Everything was copacetic until I went up on the rent the first time. I had to literally pull up on him and say, come outside so we could talk. And we talked and it was fine. We worked it out. But this time, he's like, oh, I can't afford it. He's like, you just went up 5 months ago. I said, no, I went up a year ago.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
But if you're on a month to month, if you're not under a lease, I can go up every month if I want to.
Donald Trump is a racist.
So not only they're on a month-to-month lease and you still let them live in your property, they're giving you a hard time of collecting rent. This is why I think it's just, she's, she put herself in this position to have this done to her.
Month-to-month works.
Wow. And they had a lease first and they went to month because they wouldn't give you your house back, correct?
Because they didn't want to sign a new lease.
And they didn't want to leave. So why'd you let them?
Because I was getting my money on time.
Period.
So I was right. I'm like, why? Just let them stay. They're not bothering me right now. Let them stay.
But you don't know the condition of your home. You cannot see anything. You just know you're getting your monthly payments. And so here is my question. Is there are you concerned about the condition of your home?
A bit. I went around to the back of the house and it looks like some gutters are off of the house. So if there was a big downpour of rain, that means the water will run right into the foundation of the house. Those gutters need to be put back on there. The grass sucks, but that's neither here nor there. Kamal is a smoker. I've told him from the very beginning, not to smoke inside the house, but he does. Other than that, I don't foresee any like real serious damage. But I mean, who knows?
Do you? I mean, and I don't know if you would know this, but there's been this question like, do you think they're even living in that house?
Now, no. They have, a few cars, and the last car moved quite some time ago. And from what I can tell, because all the utilities are still in my name, they didn't allow me to take the utilities out of my name. From what I can tell, in the month of, October, when it's gotten a little chilly some of these days, they would have had the heat on. The gas bill's only $30.
What about the electric? Because you can put out a little heater and just sit in one room.
The electric is only $30 as well, but that's because they keep the outside lights on all day.
Okay. And so I saw. So my question to you then would be.
Wait a minute. You mean to tell me you rented this house? You got bullied into renting a house to a person that you already leased out to. So you uncontracted the person that you were leasing to move this nightmare of a tenant in. And she wanted you to paint, put blinds up, and she didn't want to put utilities in her name. And you agreed to that?
It sounded like you told the news that the reason that they refused to pay moving forward is because you raised the rent again.
Yeah. Kamal texted me recently. He was like, I can't believe we've fallen out over this rent increase. And I said, okay. And I'm like, if you're not going to pay it, just move. He was like, well, I don't want to be someplace where I'm not wanted. And I'm like, okay, well, just let me know what day you're moving out. I mean, because he wants somebody who, and I wouldn't even say it's him. Honestly, I like Kamal. I don't like Tiffany at this point. And that's because she doesn't like me and she doesn't respect me as a woman or as a landlord. And that's where the problem lies. But I feel like Kamal has been kind of a stand-up individual, to me. Although they didn't re-sign a lease, although he says that he can't afford the extra $200, and that may be because he's paying rent at other properties, you know what I mean? And he's trying to hide money because of his bankruptcy issues. Who knows? I don't know. I'm just speculating here. But I feel like our communication is better than Tiffany and I's. And I wouldn't mind them staying, but I'm not going to sacrifice going under foreclosure because can nobody live free? If you find a place that you can live for free, you let me know and I'll come over there and live with you.
Period. I'm coming too. So keep moving. So you saying if they can make this right, they can avoid court and eviction by just paying the bill.
No, at this point, no. I would like them to move out.
Well, there you have, ladies and gentlemen. They might need a place to stay real soon. And you don't want the feds knocking down your door, of course. We know that. So, and that's me talking. The views and opinion of that last statement was the other day, not of that Janetta. Okay, so my question, I guess now is, does that do anything for the relationships you guys, your families have fostered over the 20 years? How is that being affected by all of it?
So I don't speak to them on a daily basis, the Henyards. So it's not like
the Henyards. Sounds like a horror movie. Go ahead.
On a daily basis, but they know how she is. I mean, one of her cousins called me back in December 22 when we fell out about the rent. She's like, Janetta, what's going on? And I said, girl, that's your cousin. This is how the conversation went. I said, that's your cousin. And I said, they not paying the rent because of the furnace. And she was like, she called mom, how did it go when somebody called you? Well, she called and said that you did X, Y, and Z. I said, if she pay me, we won't have no problems.
Trump abortion bans. Pregnant women suffering from a miscarriage being denied care in an emergency room because their healthcare providers are afraid they might go to jail. The freedom to make decisions about one's own body should not be made by the government.
Eve Online on Mac immerses you in a universe with.
Wow.
So I don't think that the family relationship will change. I mean, I'm sure they saw me on the news. And I know they know that I'm a very private person and I wouldn't do it unless I had to.
That's so crazy to me. Like the effect of this on these are these are real relationships that should be valued. Did you give her a background check, credit check, or any of that when you moved in?
I didn't.
Because you were showing love.
What's crazy is when she filled out the application, she just put mayor on it. For employment. She just put mayor. Mayor of what? Mayor is what she put. That's crazy.
Not even her name. She didn't put her name. You can't make this stuff up. You cannot make this stuff up. Okay. All right. I am literally going to fill me out of the application, and I'm going to put black man. Okay. Okay. Well, I'm glad that you were able to smile a little bit here, and I think that is great that people got to understand that you're not. You've been patient. You've gone through a lot. Is there a path? And this is just me asking. Like, do you have personal feelings about all the things that you've had to go through?
I mean, if I was a Dalton resident, I wouldn't vote for her again. But other than that, I mean, it is what it is. People do things. That's gonna be her karma. My karma is gonna come from me being patient, from me being a good person, from me sacrificing. Right at this point, I can't deal with what God has for her.
All right. I think I understand that and appreciate that. So I got two quick questions. The first one is, can I have my members, people who are members of the INA platform, are they able to ask you any questions?
Yes, as long as I can pass if I don't want to answer them.
Absolutely. So those individuals who are, I don't even have any production assistants, so I don't even know who a member is right now. Never mind. But what I will do, you know what? I'll let y'all ask questions, and typically that's reserved for members of this channel. However, I'll take 5 questions for, is it Hole?
Yeah.
Ms. Hole, and I want to thank you so much for being gracious and coming on here and talking to us. Someone said, does the house smell like Newports? I would assume so. He's a smoker, but we don't. She hasn't been inside of there. Moose wants to know, do you model?
Do I model? No.
I'm sorry. There are some viewers who are just totally distracted right now. They ain't thinking about no eviction, none of that. They just like, dang, look at this lady. Okay, so members have a star by their name. How much this repair cost going to be? She would know that. She hasn't been able to go inside the house. Can you describe how the house look on the inside, Janetta? How is Tiffany living? She doesn't know that. She wouldn't have been able to go in there. Okay, so can you do notice by publication? Did you get an answer for that?
No, I didn't get an answer for that today. I know one of the members did reach out to me and say that that's a possibility. I did go back to the Markham Courthouse today because I needed another piece of paper signed by the judge. But no, I don't know for certain.
Do you think that the Thornton Township meeting, the way that was ran today, do you think that that was done to avoid you and being served?
I think she smelled something.
You think she smelled it?
I think she smelled
it. Okay. So if you was to make any assumption based on all of your monitoring of your house, what do you think that property is for them right now?
I think that that's just a place for them to say that they live in Dalton, even though I know that she used her mother's address for the next election, I guess, as her address. And I think that they just haven't had time, because they're getting signatures, to move the rest of their belongings out.
Wow. I'm not going to hold you any longer. Is there anything you want to say, get out, that you haven't been able to get out in the soundbite over the media?
I don't think so.
No? Okay.
I think that's a good assessment. I know before I was saying that Tiffany probably have her, it's a trap house. She probably had her other stuff there, her stolen Amazon items in that house. But if you really think about it, Tiffany is, I hear she does resides in another town, and she's probably just using that address so she can run for mayor. Unfortunately for Miss Janetta Hole, I think that's her name. I think she went about it the wrong way. You know, as soon as Tiffany, started acting crazy about paint, blinds, not in the contract, and you refuse to put the utilities in your name, which is probably in her lease, that's required for her to put the utilities in her name, she should have said, "Oh, I don't think this is going to work out." That's what I would have did. I don't think this is going to work out. And like she said, she probably is a good assessment of Tiffany. Tiffany pushes you. She wants to argue and then to see if you will bend to her will. And if you don't, she backs off. If she knows that you can't be bullied, you're not a sucker, then that's when she starts respecting you. She doesn't respect her because she never backed off. She thinks she could pull one over on this lady. So, anyway, K Mac is saying, so that contract SB null and void. Yeah, it is. It's null and void. They don't really have a contract. She said they're doing month to month, basically. Justin Thompson, I'm concerned about the fact that I believe nobody filed to run against her as the supervisor in Thornton Township. That is a position Tiffany Henyard is making over $250,000. Yeah, this is very concerning to me. I know there was a young guy that, remember the young guy that was in a meeting and he said he was going to run? Well, I'm not for sure if he signed up to run, but I think running for political office, it gets pretty expensive. So you got to put a certain amount of money down. I'm not for sure about the supervisory position, but like for mayor and all those positions, you have to have some type of financial backing. You can't just walk up and say, "Oh, I'm going to run for mayor." And then you got to go with a political affiliation, and if you don't, a lot of times you don't even get elected if you're not party affiliated. So, Bob Long is saying she signed as the mayor. Both names are on the lease. Yeah, I think what she was saying, her job, where she put the space where she supposed to put her job, she just put the mayor. I think that's what she was saying. K Mac is saying there's still time. The filing deadline is in November. Is Tiffany okay in the head? I don't think she's okay. Something's wrong with her. Breeze Creation LLC. I don't really follow anyone in these spaces. I do watch your channel. You come with the facts. Thank you, Breeze. So, hopefully she'll get her out. And it sounds like if Tiffany pays the money, she won't have a problem with it. But at this point, I would have a problem with Tiffany because she's such a problematic person. Even on the heat thing, why are you giving me a hard time about fixing stuff and don't you want it fixed? It's just some of the things that Tiffany gripes and complains about doesn't even make any sense. So anyway. Thank you, Keratin. So that was it for our videos for today. Tomorrow, Candace Owens, you guys, so stay tuned. Candace Owens dropped some bombs about Kamala Harris. So we're going to view that tomorrow. And then anything that's going on with the presidential election, I'm still trying to get my ducks in the row because I believe on November the 5th, I'm going to have a watch party. So we'll have several guests on the channel. So I'm going to put a post out in regards to that to, give you guys a heads up on as far as the time and who we expect to have on the show. Okay. So you guys, I really appreciate every single last one of you. I am sending all my good to you. I will talk to you tomorrow.